Well, first of all, Sarah, thank you for doing this with us. I want to just take us back a few years when you and I first met. You were doing some pretty interesting events around the state of Wisconsin, the brewskis with Godlewski. Can you just tell me a little bit about those events?
Well, if there's something we know about Wisconsinites, it's they love their beer. Yeah. And so how are we meeting people where they are and being good listeners? It's showing up at their local bar. And so we were doing brewskis for Godlewski across the state. We were listening with folks, hopefully getting new supporters, and also having a lot of fun.
And if you fast forward about 2 years, the two of us last saw each other in July when President Joe Biden came to Wisconsin for a rally. Can you tell me what that rally was like and how you were feeling in that moment?
Well, from my perspective, there was no doubt about how wonderful and how much Joe Biden got done for our country. I mean, he passed the infrastructure package. He lowered the price of prescription drugs. The question was, how are we going to let the rest of America know this and get excited about all the important work that was being done? And so that event on July, I think, was a good indication of our work and trying to raise the energy and what we need to win a presidential.
Now that event was in a middle school, I believe. Yeah. And then recently, there's a new candidate. Democrats have a new candidate, and she's been filling larger venues.
It has been night and day when you compare what Kamala Harris is attracting versus Donald Trump. And when Kamala Harris picked Tim Walz to be her vice president, she could have gone anywhere. She ended up coming to western Wisconsin, where there were thousands of people in a field all rallying around her and Governor Walz. And I think what was so exciting from my perspective is I'm from that part of Wisconsin, and you only see turnouts that big if you're watching Country Jam or Rock Fest. And here they are rallying around two incredible leaders to be the next president and vice president of the United States.
What's your sense, though, about how the prospects have changed since July for Democrats?
Well, what I think is really exciting is that when, I can talk about when Wisconsinites look at Kamala Harris and they look at Tim Walz, it looks like them. Like, it seems like your next door neighbor that you can call when you need to help get out of the snow. And I think that really matters, because when you look at Donald Trump, here's somebody that's only been it's been about himself. And when you look at Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, they've only done public service, whether it's the work that Kamala was doing as a prosecutor and prosecuting criminals, to Tim Walz as a public high school teacher and as a football coach. And who's going to best advocate for you? It's people who get you, who get middle America, who wants to make it better. And that's who Kamala Harris and Tim Walz are.
And then I noticed earlier you have some friendship bracelets. Can you tell me a little bit about them?
Something that's been happening here on Convention Hall is that you have these friendship bracelets that people are sharing, and I actually have two here. One was made by a public school teacher back in Wisconsin, and it says, "We're not going back." And then there's another one that says "Elect Women." And both of these are from Wisconsin. And to me, it's sending a really important message that we're all feeling in the Dairyland, which is we saw this 1849 abortion ban come back into play under Republican rule. And we're now living in this era of 1849. And we don't want to go back. Like, we're sick of looking in the rearview mirror. We want to look forward. And these bracelets are a reminder by electing women and moving our state forward that we're just not going to go back.
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.